What words come to mind when you hear the name Miranda Cosgrove? Child star, iCarly, despicable meme, about you now, Michael Jackson? In today's video, we will be going over the life, the work, career, controversies, and criticism. Entertainment's favorite teen idol turned working Hollywood actress, producer, and director, Miranda Cosgrove. Most of us grew up watching Miranda on Nickelodeon, and unlike some child stars who grow up in turmoil, who grew up being exploited, abused, and take a turn for the worse, battling things like addiction, money issues, controversies, and scandals, Miranda has seemingly been able to come out of her child stardom relatively unscathed. But all that glitters isn't gold. So grab your spaghetti tacos and bundle up as we discuss Miranda's career trajectory, why Miranda Cosgrove seems to be such an anomaly in the child star to working existing adult pipeline, the unforgettable spunk and impact of her Nickelodeon hit show iCarly, and how Miranda Cosgrove to this day is continuously making moves in the industry as we embark on this new year of 2025. Without further ado, let's get into it. Miranda Cosgrove was born on May 14th, 1993 in Los Angeles, California, making her 31 years old during the making of this video, a Taurus, and a true millennial. Miranda is an only child. And her mother, Christina, is a homemaker, and her father, Tom, owns a dry cleaning business. Miranda has that racially ambiguous look to me. I always thought she was like half Hispanic, half white. Like, she kind of gives Hispanic to me. But she revealed on Twitter a couple years ago that she has Irish, French, and English ancestry, expressing she's one of those racially ambiguous people. Allegedly, her maternal grandfather, William Frank Casey, was the son of an Irish-born father, William, and a Mexican-born mother, Mary. That's what I'm saying. Like, something about her gives Hispanic or Latino. I don't know what it is.
Well, I did 23andMe, and I found out that I can't remember the exact percentage, but I'm Mexican, and I didn't know.
From your mom?
Yeah, from my mom's side. And I'm Indian a little bit, which surprised me.
Oh, whoa. A little Jewish, too.
Yes, I am.
Cosgrove kind of sounds Hispanic to me. But according to IMDb, she was discovered at the ripe age of 3 years old, singing and dancing around the table at the restaurant Taste of LA, where an agent saw her talent and quickly signed her. She began her career in commercials, appearing in ads for brands like Burger King, McDonald's, and Mellow Yellow, landing her first television appearance in 2001 as the voice of Lana Lang in the pilot episode of Smallville. She made her breakthrough film debut in 2003's School of Rock, which I've seen on Broadway. And honestly, out of all the Broadway shows I've seen, to this day is the one I enjoyed the most, believe it or not. Or it's between that and Once on This Island. This isn't about Broadway. Anyway, the film grossed over $130 million worldwide, and Miranda Cosgrove's performance was praised by critics. This particular movie is where these memes were born. Nickelodeon! I am the voice that sings. While filming School of Rock in New York, she was informed that the pilot for the show Drake and Josh had been greenlit. She co-starred as Drake Parker's younger sister, Megan Parker, while also making guest appearances on shows like Zoe 101. She also guest starred on another Nickelodeon show, Unfabulous, with my man, he loves me. What's his name? Jordan? I'm talking about he my man. I don't remember his last name. Jordan. Oh my gosh. I'm obsessed with him. I loved him in Black Mirror. Not Black Mirror, Black Lightning. Jordan Calloway. Hey! Around this time, she was in the 6th grade, and she would transition from regular public school to being homeschooled exclusively. The Drake and Josh episode, Mindy Loves Josh, season 4, episode 4, is where this prolific meme was born. This is one of Miranda's most recognizable memes. Finally, in 2007, Miranda got the job as the titular lead character in her own show for the network, the Nickelodeon sitcom iCarly. Leave it all to moi. Laisse-moi tout faire. That's Leave It All to Me in French. iCarly is a popular Nickelodeon television series that originally aired from 2007 to 2012, premiering September 8th, 2007, just a couple of days before the series finale of Drake and Josh, which premiered on September 16th, 2007. The show centers around Carly Shay, played by Miranda Cosgrove, a teenage girl who lives with her older brother in Seattle, where she creates her own web show with her friends. Her friend Sam Puckett serves as the co-host of the show, and her friend and neighbor Freddie Benson serving as the the camera operator and producer. The series combines comedy, teenage drama, and elements of internet culture targeting a young audience. The creator of the show, that shall not be named, tailored iCarly around the growing interest that kids had in the internet, allowing viewers to submit their own tapes and videos that could be included in the show. The characters are well developed, each with unique personalities that resonate with viewers. Carly is a relatable protagonist, while Sam's mischievousness and Freddie's nerdiness add depth and humor to the show. The premise of the show being about a web show was groundbreaking at the time, reflecting the rise of internet culture. The show became known for its clever writing and humor, with plenty of running gags and catchphrases that we know and remember to this day that made the show super memorable. Also, the comedic chemistry between the cast contributed to its success. iCarly featured numerous guest stars, including musical acts like One Direction and Good Charlotte, but also First Lady of the United States at the time, Michelle Obama. iCarly was one of the first shows to depict a web-based series, which honestly inspired a generation of content creators and influencing how youth engaged with media online. Because of all the catchphrases and the unforgettable moments that have been turned into memes, the show has maintained its relevance in online culture long after the original airing of the show has ended, which that's what you call impact. iCarly's success led to various merchandise, video games, and even a spin-off web series and a spin-off sitcom, Sam and Cat, which only further cemented its place in Nickelodeon's legacy. By the summer of 2008, iCarly was the third highest rated series in the ages 9 to 14 demographic. The iCarly Saves TV special became the most viewed entertainment show on cable television in June 2008. And by 2012, Miranda Cosgrove, who played the main character Carly Shay, was bringing in a whopping $180,000 per episode, making her the world's highest paid child actor, a Guinness World Record that she still holds to this day. I mean, y'all, this is your favorite kid show. Like, iCarly leaped bounds and valleys to cement its place into not only pop culture, but also internet culture. And I do think the way Carly and Sam presented the show and all of the antics and Fred and all that, like, it really did influence what we saw reflected on the internet at the time. Really inspired the girls. iCarly, Carly Shay is some of y'all's mom. Some of these YouTubers, these gurus, these skits these people make, yeah, iCarly is your mom. Thank you. On May 17th, 2012, it was announced that iCarly's 6th season would be its last. The series finale, I Goodbye, aired on November 23rd, 2012, and I remember it like it was yesterday. I bawled when Sam was on her motorcycle and the shot just panned out to like the traffic light and her just going off in the distance. Freddie had said, "And we're clear," and the lights just went out as she was driving off on her motorcycle, presumably going to Los Angeles to meet up with Kat. Oh my god. Bitch, I was bawling. So emotional. I'll never forget that. Never forget.
Maybe I'm wrong,
Miranda's debut as a recording artist began with the theme song of iCarly, Laisse-moi te faire, which is Leave It All to Me in French. Just had to remind you. Unbeknownst to me, this song actually features Drake Bell, and it was released as a single on December 2nd, 2007. In June of 2008, Columbia Records released the iCarly soundtrack, which featured 4 songs performed by Miranda, and the soundtrack debuted at #1 on the Billboard Kids album chart. In December of 2008, a cover of the Christmas song, Christmas Rapping, was released to promote the 2-hour-long film, Merry Christmas, Drake and Josh. I remember that. Her iCarly popularity definitely helped nudge her and launch her into this singing career. Miranda released one of my favorite songs of all time, About You Now, which was the lead single from her new EP, About You Now, on February 3rd, 2008. About You Now peaked at number 47 on the Billboard Hot 100. In 2009, she was named a MTV Pop Rookie. Her debut album, Sparks Fly, was released in 2010 and reached number 8 on the Billboard 200 chart. Her single, Sparks Fly, became Miranda's best-selling single release, peaking at number 54 on the Billboard Hot 100 and being certified gold. She released an EP in 2011 titled High Maintenance. She went on the Dancing Crazy tour in 2011 and then the summer tour in 2012 right after filming the finale of iCarly. In 2010, Miranda began voicing the character of Margot in Despicable Me, and she would go on to voice Margot in all the different installments of the films and short films that Margot was in the Despicable Me franchise. I think that's really cool. You know, she's like 30 something years old and she's still voicing a child because she has that youthful, young, bubbly, I'm awesome type of voice. And I think, no, seriously, I think that's really cool that she can still voice this little girl. Wait, is she? I think she's the oldest of the girls. So in December of 2013, she went on the Today Show and announced that she was recording a new album. That album never came. More on that later. And in 2014, she did voice work on the film A Mouse Tale, which was later released in February of 2015. After this, Miranda kind of took a step back after all the stuff with iCarly, all the touring, all the music, in between all the Despicable Me movies. She took a break and she actually enrolled in college. She went to the University of Southern California. She graduated from USC with a degree in psychology. She actually said she started off as a film studies major, but she changed her major her third year. Quote, my dad did psychology at USC too, but now he owns a dry cleaning business. He still says he uses it all the time though. You really do. I mean, psychology is the science of the mind. You kind of use it in any industry that you're in. Her dad acknowledged the decision for her to focus on her studies could negatively impact her career, but that there were potential advantages to taking a break as well. And I think this goes into a conversation we'll have later about like why Miranda hasn't gone off the rails. Miranda starred in the horror film The Intruders with Austin Butler. She was also cast in the NBC sitcom Crowded, which I think is about a girl who graduates college and she moves home and she's like crowded in the house with her parents. But it only lasted a couple episodes and it aired in 2016. She came back for Despicable Me in 2017 and she also made an appearance in the Netflix film 3022. So Miranda has had a lot of memes go viral of her. She's always been kind of soft-spoken. She was a teen idol, so she probably had a lot of girls who wanted to be her, boys who wanted to be with her type of thing. She's very private about her dating life, and understandably, because I would be if I had two stalkers and one of them killed themselves in front of my yard. Like, I do think there is a cult of men on the internet who are like viscerally obsessed with Miranda Cosgrove, kind of like in the same vein of Billie Eilish. I don't know, it's weird. She's always had this like precious, idyllic type of portrayal. She doesn't share too much information, so she's kind of got that mysterious vibe going on, but she's also like super bubbly and almost like a caricature. During her time on iCarly, you know, a lot of people didn't really like Carly because they thought she was just so monotone, attached to anything that's next to her. Where's your individualism? Where's your personality type of thing? I kind of understood that critique, but at the same time, I think she was molded to be that way because we were talking about earlier, she's supposed to be like a relatable narrator or a relatable protagonist. With those critiques, they were kind of trying to do the same thing that they did with Victoria Justice and Tori Vega, and how like people were literally thinking Victoria Justice were Tori Vega, and I think they're trying to do the same thing with Miranda, but Miranda is not. Carly, angelic, I was a teen idol, now I'm 31 years old. You wouldn't know I'm 31 years old. And I think because of how she depicts herself, she can kind of be the butt of the joke sometimes, especially because of how she kind of grew up as a child star and she doesn't drink, she doesn't smoke. People were like laughing at her when she said that her favorite cuss word was probably fuck.
I actually do cuss a little.
Do you?
Also, yeah.
What's your favorite curse word?
Probably fuck.
I do think she gets that treatment a little bit, especially with like not being in on the joke sometimes, with like people saying she looks like Michael Jackson or Jimmy Fallon. I read a quote somewhere where she said that, you know, growing up with all this pressures of being a child star, she would sometimes go online and wouldn't stop looking for comments until she found like a negative one. And it's that inner saboteur, that morbid curiosity of like, why do people hate me? Why do people not like me? I think the sensitive nature of being in the spotlight like that has kind of allowed her to be guarded, but then people take that guardedness and just run with it, if that makes sense. She told Bustle that there's still a little part of me that's like, it'd be nice if people could see me in a different light. I like my little bubble and my life. So I'm torn a lot because I'm like, how much should I put out there on social media? How much should I really want people to know about me? Maybe it's nice that I just have one thing people think of me for, and at least it's a nice thing. And then I can live my life on the inside. My favorite meme of her is probably the interesting me. That's what I'm saying. Like when they recreated on iCarly, the new iCarly, I was like, okay, like, I don't know. Like, what are you doing? Just remain outside of the joke. I don't know. It's like, it was too on the nose. In 2014, Miranda was granted a restraining order from Los Angeles County Court against a stalker who allegedly did things like send her unsolicited gifts, physically following her, and also threatening suicide. He violated the restraining order and was sentenced to 3 years probation because of this. In 2016, another stalker who had been stalking Miranda Cosgrove shot a woman in her car near Miranda Cosgrove's house before lighting himself himself on fire and then shooting himself in Miranda Cosgrove's yard. Yeah, he was found dead at the scene. And although there's not a ton of details about either of these cases online, public details at least, Miranda has talked about the 2016 attempted murder-suicide on a podcast.
I had a person come to my house and try to kill me. The whole time I was inside trying to get these girls to think I was cool and like me and want me to be in the group, this guy was actually in my backyard with a gun, pacing back and forth in my backyard the entire time to win them over. Because later, when everything happened and the police came, they checked the security footage. And so 2 days before, he had already been there and he was burying things in the backyard.
So getting into the controversies, Miranda Cosgrove, I think, prides herself on having a very clean, pristine, polished reputation, how she's perceived, and I think it's very intentional. So there's not a ton to say about this chapter. There's a lot of things that have happened to her and, you know, little comments she's made here and there, or lack of comments she's made, but nothing like Donald Glover or Lena Dunham. I would be remiss if I didn't mention the relationship between her and Jennette McCurdy. It's always been a point of discussion because they did play best friends on a TV show for all these years, and, you know, fans want to know, are they friends in real life? Are they still friends after all these years? Blah, blah, blah. Especially when Jennette McCurdy released her memoir, I'm Glad My Mom Died, in 2022. And she was going into explicit detail about how she was exploited and abused in the industry by her mother. All these different angles where she was not being protected as somebody should be in the position that she was in. Naturally, fans began looking towards Miranda for a response in this book. So Miranda says, end quote, "When you're young, you're so in your own head. You can't imagine that people around you are having much harder struggles. You don't expect things like that from the person in the room who's making everyone laugh." And so when Jennette is talking about the relationship between her and Miranda in the book, she goes into a lot of detail about like how they were very close after iCarly ended, to the point where they would have like weekly sleepovers. She insinuated that Miranda was there for her during a lot of the bulimia and eating disorders that she was suffering through. She felt like she had a friend in her co-star. She then explains that they sort of drifted apart in their later 20s. She even details the conversation that she had with Miranda about wanting her to come back for the iCarly Paramount Plus reboot. I don't want to take too many quotes from the book because I think everyone should go out and buy it and read it, because I hear it's really good and I don't want to just like take paid information and put it on a free platform. But she goes into detail about this conversation, saying, "On a phone call, McCurdy insisted, 'Miranda, I'm not doing the reboot. There's nothing you can say to convince me.' She tells me she thinks the reboot could be an opportunity for all of us in the cast to get back out there, maybe get some other opportunities from it." When that tactic didn't work, Cosgrove reminded McCurdy that it's really good money. In response to that, Jennette says, "But there are things more important than money, and my mental health and happiness fall under that category. There's a moment of silence. It's one of those rare moments where I feel like I didn't say too much or too little. I feel like I represented myself accurately, and there's nothing I would change about the way I said it. I feel proud." We wrap up our conversation, promising to keep in touch, and hang up. Neither one of them post a ton on social media. It's not really our business, but I kind of see why people are so invested, because the whole cast had a ton of chemistry. Her absence is very, very obvious on the reboot, but they did used to post like, "Oh, we're out at lunch." So in response to, you know, people asking why isn't Jennette in the reboot, Miranda would go around saying, "We all really wanted Jennette to be a part of the show in real life, but she's just doing other things, and we're really happy for her, and that she would be welcome onto the reboot anytime." I just feel like there is this plaster on top of Miranda. Like, she just seems like, yeah, again, I don't know this woman, and she keeps it like that on purpose. She even said it like, "I only let y'all in so much." Well, so from what you're publicly displaying to me, it's just giving like 6 feet. You know what I mean? When the documentary Quiet on Set dropped in 2024, and Drake Bell had an episode where he was discussing his sexual assault, the perpetrator being Brian Peck, everybody was looking towards Josh Peck and Miranda Cosgrove to come out and say something in support of their co-star on that very popular show. Josh Peck ended up saying something, but Miranda stayed silent on the whole situation, and again, that's like a pattern of hers. This is something so like surface level about Miranda Cosgrove. Like, she didn't really say anything. She was just like, "Oh, you just never know what people are going through. The funniest person in the room could be going through the hardest triumphs, and you never know." Yeah, like, I don't know if she's trying to protect her by being so vague, or like she just wants to keep this polished cookie cutter look and be vague about it. She didn't say anything about the Drake Bell situation, and a lot of people were going into her comments bashing her, saying, you know, "Your silence is really loud." So in this chapter, we're going to talk about Miranda's parents and how they're a great blueprint on, if you are going to suscept your child to a crazy industry like this, they want to act, if they want to dance, if you want to smash a camera in their face or whatever, this is how you do it. They raised Miranda really well, and I think they did a good enough job protecting her from the evils of the industry. So let's get into it. All of these quotes are from a People magazine article published in 2024. First things first is that they had good motivations from the start. They weren't trying to leash off their daughter. They weren't trying to pimp their daughter out and live off of their daughter like Jeanette's mom was trying to do, making her the breadwinner of the family. If you read the book, we have our reservations, but if we're going to do this, okay, let's at least get a little cash for her future, for college, and then we'll go from there. Key takeaway here: aiming to maintain a sense of normalcy. A child in development, it's so crucial. In the height of her filming iCarly, she still lived at home with her parents in Downey, California. Her dad was working at his dry cleaning business every day, her mom at home. We are simply supporting our daughter. She has her stuff going on and we have our funds, and we are going to maintain our lifestyle. Every day we're going to remind her that she is a child at the end of the day, and you know, children go to school and we want you to have the best schooling that makes you feel the most comfortable in the position that you're in. Period. The money did not change them, and it wasn't their money to take. It was kind of just like, okay, Miranda gets to do her thing and we're just going to support her like good parents should. And that's the problem with a lot of child stars. They don't have support, or the support they do have, it's not genuine support. It's, oh, I want your money. Oh, you got to do this, you got to do that, you got to do this. Like, we need to make as much money as possible. We need you to step out of your comfort zone and do things that make you uncomfortable, because we're always trying to push the needle. We want you to be able to graduate out of child stardom into a full-fledged adult and continue to be our bank account. That's not good parenting. That's not good stewardship or support. Continuing to live their lives and just supporting their daughter. This is a great blueprint. This is what you're supposed to do. Sad that we have to say that, but this is what you're supposed to do. Let your kid do what they want. Make sure you're protecting them and create a sense of normalcy, and don't exploit them. Hesitant on it, saying, it took a lot for my mom to give in. I remember her asking, are you sure you want to do this? Are you sure you want to stay in acting? And even with Miranda feeling kind of, you know, lonely being homeschooled, because you are all alone. You go from this big school with all these different types of people to just by yourself with your teacher. Her dad made it a point to make sure that she always was able to carve out time to see her childhood friends, make sure that she had close relationships outside of her Hollywood circle. And they're just checking all the boxes, doing everything you should do if you're really going to allow your child in an industry this cutthroat, this vicious, an industry that chews people up and spits them out. We've seen the likes of Lindsay Lohan, Amanda Bynes, Miley Cyrus, and even like what her co-star Jeanette went through. It's all about that child being a child and not having the grounds to make adult decisions. So you step in the gap, that you're not overstepping on their boundaries, that you're making sure that they're still having fun doing whatever they want to do. Miranda goes on to say, it hasn't been too crazy for me being in the entertainment business since I was little, because I haven't had any crazy scandal. I'm sure that would be really hard to handle, especially as a kid. Having people say bad things about you or judge decisions you made, that probably would have made it harder for me to stay sane. Again, she always had this polished cookie cutter image, and I think with the support of her parents, with her parents protecting her from all the scrutiny or negative opinions or pressure that the show might have received, they were always there to kind of be a cushion for her for that, and that's awesome. I've been acting since I was pretty little, and it's already a challenge of growing up, finding your voice and figuring out where you fit in and how to do that. I would say just growing up in the entertainment business and also going through that at the same time, it's even more pressure. So now that I'm an adult, I feel like I learned a lot from growing up in this business. It's good that she could take something positive away from her experience. And this just goes to show, you know, they wanted her to comment on the docuseries. Again, she kept it classy, she kept it polished and cute, and saying that's their experience and I respect it, and you know, it's valid. I had a different experience because of all these different things. I had good parents, I wasn't being exploited, I went to college. In 2017, Miranda Cosgrove reprised her role in Despicable Me 3 as Margot, and since 2019 she has been the host of a show titled Unstoppable with Miranda Cosgrove, which is an educational program that is on CBS. She actually earned a Daytime Emmy Award nomination for this educational program in 2020. Miranda played Rachel in the independent film North Hollywood. In 2021, Miranda Cosgrove reprised her role as Carly Shay in the Paramount Plus reboot of iCarly, simply titled iCarly, right? Or is it iCarly Plus? It lasted for 3 seasons until it was canceled in July of 2023, following a major cliffhanger where Spencer and Carly's mom, we've never seen, we know they have a dad, we know they have a grandpa, they never really explained it. She shows up. The first season of the show received a 100% rating on Rotten Tomatoes, and she won the award for favorite female TV star at the 2022 Kids' Choice Awards. She actually served as an executive producer for the iCarly reboot, saying, "I knew from a really young age how the executive producer of the show pretty much got to decide almost every aspect. Now I get to have a say in everything." Getting to be an executive producer on the revival for the show was so nice because it was so different than just being a kid on a show and doing whatever the directors tell you to do or whatever is written. I had a lot more of a say now, and I think that really helped in finding my voice and really figuring out who I am. I watched the first maybe 2 or 3 episodes of the reboot back when it first came out, and I unfortunately just really couldn't get into it. I think my mind was just too far gone from iCarly. I really enjoyed the original show, and the fact that they were making it kind of adult did not resonate with me. Even though I am an adult, I don't know. I just wasn't feeling it. Maybe I'll give it another try. Also, I think the absence of Sam, the understandable absence of the character Sam, because the actress who plays her, you know, came out with the book and had an awful experience in the industry. That's valid. I think her presence was just also missing for me. Just like everybody else, I feel a sort of weight against reboots and revivals sometimes. But it's nice to know that it was received well by most people. She told Yahoo Lifestyle in 2022 that she has absolutely no plans to return to music. And maybe that's for the better. I feel like she was one of those stars similar to a Hilary Duff or even like a Selena Gomez, where they were kind of pushed to do music because they were doing the acting thing. And you could tell that they may have not been, like, that's not where their heart is. In 2022, she was included in Forbes magazine's 30 Under 30 list, and she hosted the 2022 Kids Choice Awards. She had a starring role in the comedy film Drugstore June, which came out in February 2024. She also starred alongside Brooke Shields in the Netflix rom-com Mother of the Bride, which I did watch a couple weeks ago. It was mid. She came back for the role of Margot again in July 2024 for Despicable Me 4. God, I gotta catch up. The last one I saw was when they showed us Gru's backstory, which I think is Despicable Me 3. No, I think that's just called Rise of Gru. I don't know. Girl, so much. Miranda has served as a spokesperson for Neutrogena skincare products since 2010. Miranda has teased that since the cancellation of the iCarly reboot on Paramount Plus, there has been talks and they are working on bringing it back. I don't know if it's gonna be on Paramount Plus, but she's basically insinuated that it's like in the works. It's greenlit, like they're working on it. So if you like the iCarly reboot and you want to get answers to that cliffhanger, you're in luck because an untitled iCarly project is to be announced. It's coming. She's talked about it. She's also supposed to be playing a character named Dawn in the movie The Wrong Paris this year in 2025. That's it. That's all. Comment down below. What do you think? What are your thoughts on Miranda? What are your thoughts on her early career, her relationship with Jennette iCarly and its impact on pop culture? I think it's really cool to have the conversation about childhood stardom and how to navigate that in a way that benefits your child the most and reduces the most harm. But it's so tricky because half of me is like, I don't really think children should even be in front of a camera. Like, I think children should not be working as actors like before the age of 15. But then again, it's so much art that people want to show where they involve kids, and should we just go back to how they used to do it in Shakespeare times, where if it was a woman in the play, a man would play the woman because women couldn't act? So should we just make grown people play children and then make them like walk on their knees? I don't know. It's really tricky. It's even worse with like influencers and like family channels. There are not a ton of laws. I think they're trying to make labor laws for kid influencers, but like, oh, mom's got the camera on, she wants to show me having my first period. What can I do? It's just so sad. Comment down below who else you want me to do a deep dive on. I've had a really good year 2024. I want to make sure I'm going in the right direction for 2025. So my next video will probably be on the sex lives of college girls. 3rd season is currently airing and I have thoughts. I also really want to get into vlogs because I hope my life can change in the next couple of months and I can make a lot of advancements and progress in my early career in my life. So it'd be nice to document that. Just let me know. I'm open ears and I love bouncing ideas off of the people that enjoy watching my content. Thank you all again so much for watching, and how I feel about you now. Was wrong, I let you down. That song slaps. Can we bring yesterday? Oh, she ate that.
Miranda Cosgrove, si vous regardez ceci, déguisez-vous en Michael Jackson pour Halloween.
S'il te plaît, Miranda.